Hello, welcome to my kitchen. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today and something completely new that I've never done on this channel. And honestly, I'm going to ask you right now, please be gentle with me throughout this entire video, because today I am going to be sewing a cloak. The reason I am sewing a cloak is because I want this cloak for something that I want to do for a costume eventually. That aside, I have not sewn from a pattern or really sewn in probably about 5 years. So, that being said, today we are making a cloak. I hope you guys enjoy this. I was talking about this in my very first video of the year about how I'm going to be doing some new content on this channel. This is one of the new kinds of content. I used to be very, very interested in cosplaying. I used to actually do it a lot with my friends in college. I don't think I have any photos, like good photos of a lot of my cosplays. I think I do have, if I have a picture of my friend Nina and I dressed as Max Caulfield and Chloe Price from Life is Strange, I will put it here. It might be a Polaroid. I feel like we took a lot of photos in those cosplays in Polaroid. And then in addition to that, I think the last cosplay that I did where I like made a whole costume was again with my friend Nina. We dressed as the two main, well, I guess not the two main characters, but the devil from The Devil is a Part-Timer, and then the girl with the pink hair. I was the girl with the pink hair. We were running around like that at a con, and I made those costumes. Obviously, I bought like pieces for it, and then I like adjusted them accordingly. My point is I think the last time that I have sewn on a machine was probably for a Disgaea 4 costume. I don't think I have any pictures of this cosplay, but I, in college at one point, went as a thief from Disgaea 4, and I made like the hat that I wore, and I think I made the little like, I'll put a picture of the character up, but I definitely made the hat, I remember that, and then I made the little like vest jacket thing in addition to that. Yeah, that was probably the last time I sewed anything, and even prior to that, it had been a really long time since I had sewed anything. The reason I'm harping on this is the point of the start of particularly this video, the point of this video is that I am teaching myself how to sew from a pattern again, and I'm going to start doing this so that I can start cosplaying again, generally, which is hopefully going to lead up to me making costumes again. And not just cosplay costumes, but also doing costumes for my personal characters. So I am going to try and teach myself to sew from a pattern so that I can get to a point where I can make costumes for things. I've also, in the last couple of years, just gotten very interested in Renaissance fairs. I love going to the Ren Fair. The local one here in the Chicagoland area is the Bristol Renaissance Fair, so shout out to that. I did go over the summer, maybe not the best decision I made in the panorama. I went twice over the summer, once for a friend's birthday and then once for once for a friend's birthday and then once again so we could go on Pirates Weekend. I'll put pictures up of the costumes that I wore. I purchased everything pretty much in those costumes, and I want to hit a point where I could be making my own, so that's part of the reason I want to learn this skill again. Also, I am diminutive. I'm fucking short. Let me just here, hold on. Here's me next to my fridge. Anyway, my point of that was basically that learning how to sew again and learning how to mend and adjust clothes is something that I really want to pursue in the next few years, because I am just so sick of having to constantly try and cuff my pants because I literally cannot find a pair of pants that will fit me. And so I want to like learn those skills as well. So I feel like that's going to be part of it. Anyway, that aside, let's talk about what I'm actually going to be making. So I bought this pattern for a few reasons. So the pattern that I bought, let's hold it up. I'll probably get some actual B-roll of this. That's a different size. Here you go. Here's the pattern. If anyone likes Essex Thalos, you're gonna see exactly why I was like, oh, I gotta get that. So this is, the pattern is Simplicity 8768, and it says R5 as well. I don't know if that's significant. However, one thing I didn't do when I purchased this was I did not check to make sure that it was sizes 0 through 12. So this is actually the plus-sized version of this pattern, so it's sizes 14 to 22. Going to start by just making the cloak, but I am planning on making the dress in the future. Anyway, at this point, I'm going to move you guys. I'm going to turn this mic off, and I'm going to start cutting this pattern out, because that is my first order of business. Yeah, anyway, let's go. just recorded for about 10 minutes without having hit the record button. It's like 3 p.m. I should not still be drinking this coffee, but I am. Okay, I'm gonna go put this down real quick. Okay, so I've cut all the pattern pieces out. I only need 4 of them. I did a bunch of like looking at the instructions to ensure that I did not need any of the pieces from the dress for the cape. You're gonna make fun of me. The fabric that I purchased for this project was oriented towards the D&D character it was originally for. That's all fine and good. That's not the issue. When I went to Joann's, the thing about this pattern is it only is for 4B, which is the dress and the cape. They actually only give you the amount of fabric you need for both. And I had no idea how to figure out how much fabric I needed for just the cloak. I talked to someone who was very helpful at Joann's. My local Joann's is great. Honestly, like they just vibe. They vibe with the fact that I often go there and just like wander around for hours trying to figure out what I need for a project. But for this project, I kind of just needed something. And like the suggested types of fabric are like brocade, crepe, damask, dupion, satin, taffeta, velvet, all of which are kind of expensive. And I didn't want to do that for a project where I'm going to be like reteaching myself how to sew, because I might not actually make a completed product. I'm hoping I can make a completed product, but we'll see how this goes. Okay. So this is going to be the body of the cape. This is a cosplay fabric specifically. It's a nice navy blue, and then it's got this like black, like, I almost want to call it like, what was that stuff called? Like puff paint pattern on it. But it's like rubbery-ish. And I think it would, like, it fit well with what I was doing. And it's got hexagons, which is like a whole thing with me that I like the shape. I like the hexagons a lot. It has everything to do with Essex Thalis. It's fine. Anyway, so that's like going to be the main body of like the cape. And then this is the fabric for the collar. It is like a ribbed faux leather. I thought it would be really, really cool for this, just because a lot of reasons, but also it felt like when I was in the store, something that the character that this was based upon would be wearing. Because of the nature of this fabric, I did not buy fusible foam for this project, which is called for in the pattern. I'm hoping that's fine. But I did buy interfacing, which I can't currently find, so I'm gonna go find that. Okay, and then I got this fusible interfacing. I don't own an iron. So normally when you're doing a project like this, you would take all of the fabric before cutting even, you would throw it in the wash, you would wash it, and then you would iron the whole thing. I'm not doing that for a couple of reasons. For one thing, I should probably be a 12 in this pattern. I'm using the pattern for the 14. It's probably not gonna be an issue. Another thing, it's a cape. It's probably not gonna be an issue. Third, I'm probably gonna have to dry clean this if I ever wanna clean it, because both of these fabrics are not supposed to be put in the washer. So I was not going to pay to have this fabric dry cleaned prior to doing this. That all being said, though, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. Also, I was supposed to use a fabric that was 60 inches wide. I couldn't find that at my local Joann's when I was buying fabric for this project, which just kind of goes along with the fact that like this was calling for pretty high quality fabrics. I would have had to go to like Mood or like a Rainbow Fabrics or something like that to get like a true like fashion fabric for this. There's not one available in the Chicagoland area, and obviously I cannot travel right now because of the world, which is fine probably, because honestly, remember when we had that shortest conversation? This is the cape. If I bring it down a little bit to adjust for the fact that there's going to be a collar, this goes down literally to my ankles. My ankles. I would have had to cut this anyway. And like, also, let me show you the pattern really quick. The lovely woman wearing the cape in the pattern, it goes down to her knees. So it's too long for me anyway. So I'm going to adjust where you guys are. Do not judge the stuff that is up on my counter right now. I'm having breakfast. Don't ask. We learned that I can't squat like all the way down on the ground. My feet don't stay flat. Okay, so here's the thing with this. This piece needs to be cut along the fold 4 times. And this piece of fabric is definitely not enough to do that, this like single piece of fabric. So, Shiro, don't mess with the tripod, please, sir. So what that means is that I'm going to have to use both pieces of the fabric. That's fine. That just means I can't return one of them, which is totally fine. This is why you need 6 yards. So you definitely always need 6 yards to make this cape no matter what. I have learned, don't you chew on my books. Thank you, sir. Anyway, I'm gonna lay the rest of the pieces out. I don't think I'm gonna have an issue fitting them. I have literally all of this other space because this pattern assumes that you're going to use the same fabric for the dress that you're going to use for the cape. So I literally have all of the rest of the space. So long as I can get all 4 of these on a fold, I'll be good. Oh my god, my back hurts and I'm so sweaty. So I think this is where I'm gonna end day 1. I've realized I don't have any thread for this project. Oh god, I have a pocket full of fabric scraps. Anyway, so I am going to end today mostly because I have to work on Monday. I meant to start this last week when I had a day off and I didn't. The point is, though, is that due to all of those things, I am probably going to go in the morning to Joann's, pick up the thread that I need, and then that's probably going to be it for tomorrow. Basically, I'm stopping here because 1, this is just a good stopping point. I have all my pieces cut out. 2, I need to go buy thread. 3, I don't remember how to thread a sewing machine, and I actually literally just bought a brand new sewing machine, which is still in the box since I bought it. Therefore, this is a sewing machine I have never used, meaning not only do I not really remember how to thread a sewing machine, like I kind of do, it's also a new sewing machine, so it's probably going to thread slightly differently than the one that I had because it's a completely different brand. That's it for day 1, is what I'm getting at. Anyway, end of day 1. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and we'll see you again soon. Magic of editing, it'll be like right now. Hello. Day 2 of trying to learn how to sew again. So today I am learning how to thread my sewing machine, and then I'm hopefully going to start pinning together some of the cape pieces and actually sewing them together. There was a realization when I was at Joann's today where I need to know how to gather things. I was looking at the instructions again, and I don't know how to gather things, so I'm gonna have to figure that out today. But I went to Joann's because I had to have something framed, and then also I bought thread, and then I needed a fastener. The only like hand sew in fastener I could find was a magnetic one, and I could only find one, so I'm hoping that's fine. I'm just gonna kind of jump right into things, and it's already 2 p.m. and my significant other is at a friend's house watching a Super Smash Brothers tournament, and I have to go pick him up later. So I kind of want to just get on it. Let's just go. Let's Go! Okay, sorry, I'm done. So I've never even opened this sewing machine. I opened it about 5 minutes before I started filming. So we're gonna start here and getting it all set up and hopefully getting it threaded. Okay, so small problem. For some reason, the diagram to like cut all of these pieces out does not show you that you also need to cut lining pieces out for the cape. So I thought the way this was supposed to work was that I was supposed to stitch two of these together. So this is two, if you see here. So it's two of the big pieces. I thought you were supposed to make one of these and then one of these where it's sewn, like the other two are sewn together. It turns out what I was supposed to do, so I was supposed to take these, keep them separate, and line them with some other fabric. However, in my defense, like I said, if you look at the instructions, nowhere on here does it say that you need to make 6 of these panels, 2 being of a lining fabric. I kind of don't know what to do from here. Seam ripping this is gonna suck, but I think that might be what I have to do at this point. So I'm gonna get on that. well. I just realized I should probably turn the lights on. It's day 3 of making this cloak. I gotta talk about day 2 a little bit before I get into this. So a couple of things. First of all, I am pretty positive I probably lost some footage from day 2. We'll see. I have not looked, but I'm pretty sure that I kept recording and my camera kept trying to be like, yo, your SD card is full. And I kept being like, no, just keep recording. And it kept being like, but your SD card is full. And I was just like, no, just keep recording. And I didn't register that that was what it was trying to tell me, was that my SD card was full and not that my microphone was gonna like block the zoom, which is the thing it tells me all the time. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. This might be very funny when we get to it at this point in the video. I don't have a lot left to do. It's primarily just like attaching the collar and then doing like the finishing stuff and putting on like the clasp. But I didn't do this well. There was a point on day 2 where so here's the thing. On day 2, I had already been to Joann's. I went there and bought thread in the morning and then came back here and started sewing. What I didn't realize was that I was supposed to have a lining fabric for this project, and I didn't. And I see now where in the instructions it was kind of trying to allude that I needed a lining fabric, but did not expressly say that. And I have ADHD and I need things very explicitly like set out for me. Like it needs to say you need a lining fabric. It cannot just be like, oh, there are 2 diagrams here. One is for the lining fabric and one is for the... Anyway, the point is, basically, what I am getting at here is that this cloak isn't going to look good. It's going to technically be sewn together mostly correctly. Because I didn't have a lining fabric, it's going to have raw edges. I don't know if I'm ever going to fix the edges. At this point, I learned some stuff about construction and how to construct things, which was part of what I wanted out of this. In addition to that, I kind of remembered what certain symbols mean and things like that, and I realized I still got some of the symbols kind of messed up. That's totally fair. I knew this was going to happen. However, this might mean that this cloak is basically never going to be wearable. And honestly, because of the fabric that I chose, there were already, like, as soon as I was working with it, I was like, oh, fuck. So because it's got this lovely, like, rubberized pattern on it, you can't gather this fabric, and you're supposed to gather every single piece of this cape. So once I kind of realized that that was not a thing that was going to happen, I decided to kind of just let it go, and this cape just might not be wearable, which is fine. I'm going to do my best to finish it. If it's not perfect, that's also fine. So basically, I'm going to finish this off as best I can, and I am probably eventually going to remake this cloak. So yeah, like I said, I really only have to attach the collar. I'm going to do that. So remember what I mentioned about fabric choices with this project? So here is where we're at right now. The last thing I would technically need to do to this is attach the collar fasteners. And at this point, I kind of don't even want to do that. And there's a few reasons for this. For one thing, it doesn't really give me clear instructions on how to like finish this for some reason. I don't know if I'm just supposed to like hem it or what, but that's gonna be physically impossible with the fabric that I chose. Basically, this is what you guys are getting. Hold on, let me close my bathroom door. Oh God. I need to push you guys back. Here's the finished cloak. It would look really nice if I had picked the right fabrics and I'd had a lining and I hadn't attached these facing the wrong way. Granted though, this kind of looks like an intentional choice, which is part of the reason I left it, even though it wasn't intentional. I was just very sick of seam ripping and I wasn't gonna be able to seam rip it off of this collar very easily. So if I was going to do this again, this is basically my project wrap up at this point. So if I was going to be doing this again, I would be picking better fabrics, first of all. I would also probably be making an actual mock-up next time so I could go through it at least once with like a very cheap fabric. Things I've learned. Like I said, the whole point of this was just to kind of learn. I learned how to thread my sewing machine, which is awesome. I have a couple of options for places I'm going to go and maybe buy some new fabric for this project, but I'm probably going to make the dress first because I need that for something else, which will probably be on this channel, but I'm not going to say much more about that. And yeah, this was kind of a weird video. I guess it's not weird. This is a new kind of content I would like to introduce to my channel, crafting, sewing, and cosplay related. Well, you are going to be seeing more of this. Don't worry, this is not going to be like a one-off situation where it's like, I'm going to make a cloak and then I'm never going to do this again. And yeah, so I do stuff like this all the time, and I'm hoping to kind of share it more with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry that I do not have a better product to present to you than this cloak. All of that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this very whirlwind of a project video. I'm hoping you guys are excited for more sewing content in the future. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day. Bye, guys. Google, what are the names of the two main characters in the video game Life is Strange? The fuck? I don't remember her being named Hannah. I did a tarot pull for myself and it was like, you've got something that's gonna be terrible. It's going to be an inevitable end, but it's gonna be for the better. And then the other two cards were basically like, you are invigorated. Do that thing you want to do. There's not thread in this bag. Oh God, I might need to go to Joann's. Okay, so you can't see it at all. I just realized. Okay. My house is too small to try and slide in on camera. I gotta clean my house now. So, sewing stuff everywhere.